The screen is dark. A low, pulsing hum fills the audio, like the distant thrum of machinery. Faint green light flickers, revealing a cramped control room bathed in the glow of monitors. A young Ukrainian operator, Sofia, stares intently at a grainy drone feed. Her breath catches as a red alert flashes. Target acquired. The timestamp reads 3:10 a.m., September 21st, 2025. The camera pans to the screen, showing two glowing heat signatures, enemy helicopters, landed and vulnerable. A voice whispers over the radio, urgent and hushed, "This is it. We've got them." The hum crescendos, and the screen cuts to a wide shot of a Ukrainian Bayraktar TB, two drones slicing silently through the night sky, its silhouette barely visible against the stars. The stakes are clear. One strike could change the war. In the underground command center in Zaporizhia, the air is thick with tension. The room is a hive of quiet activity, operators hunched over consoles, their faces illuminated by the cold light of screens. Sofia, the lead drone operator, adjusts her headset, her fingers steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her. The feed from the Bayraktar TB2, codenamed Falcon 7, shows a clear image. Two Russian Mi-8 AMT helicopters, each worth millions, parked on a concrete ramp at a covert airbase in occupied Crimea. The AI targeting system highlights them in red, confirming their identity. These aren't just helicopters. They're the backbone of the enemy's rapid troop deployments, ferrying dozens of soldiers and their gear across the front lines. Each Mi-8 had just completed a 2-hour flight, unloading over 60 troops before being towed into the technical area for refueling and maintenance. The base, nestled in the rocky hills of western Crimea, is a critical hub. Intelligence reports indicate it houses fuel depots, ammunition caches, and advanced radar systems capable of tracking low-flying targets. Destroying it would choke the enemy's supply lines and open a strategic gap in their defenses. Sofia's commander, Colonel Mikola, stands behind her, his voice low but firm. "This is our sugar cube," he says, referencing an old Ukrainian proverb about luring ants to their doom. The helicopter's landing wasn't just a routine stop. It was the breadcrumb that gave Ukraine the base's precise coordinates. For weeks, Ukrainian intelligence had hunted this target, a needle in the haystack of Crimea's rugged terrain. Now the enemy's arrogance had exposed them. On the ramp, Russian officers are oblivious to the danger. They shed their flight gear, laughing as they pour cheap vodka into plastic cups, toasting a flawless mission. The mood is jovial, almost festive. They don't know that Falcon 7 is watching, its infrared sensors capturing every move, every heat signature from the still warm engines. The base's coordinates are locked. The window for a strike is narrow but real. At 3:15 a.m., the command center's screens light up with new data. Commercial infrared satellite imagery, patched through from a NATO ally, confirms the heat signatures on the ramp. The Mi-8s are joined by two B-12 maritime patrol aircraft, their bulbous noses unmistakable. Behind them, a cluster of Nebo-U radar antennas hums, capable of detecting stealth aircraft and tracking hundreds of targets simultaneously. Human intelligence from local resistance fighters adds a critical detail. The base stores over 500 tons of fuel and ammunition, enough to sustain weeks of air operations. Neutralizing this base would do more than destroy a few aircraft. It would cripple the enemy's ability to project power across southern Ukraine, disrupt their logistics chain, and create a blind spot in their early warning network. Colonel Mikola nods to Sofia. "This is bigger than we thought. We hit this, we shift the war." The plan escalates from surveillance to a precision strike. The Ghost Special Operations Unit, a secretive team of drone tacticians, takes charge. They've been preparing for this moment for months, running simulations and studying enemy radar patterns. The base's defenses are formidable. Nebo-U radar, Podlet K-1 low-altitude scanners, and Pantsir S-1 air defense batteries. But every system has a weakness, and Ghost has found it. A blind sector in the radar coverage, a fleeting gap created by the terrain and the rotation of the Nebo-U's scanning arcs. At 3:20 a.m., the order is given. A covert UAV formation, already airborne for nearly 2 hours, is retasked. The formation consists of 5 drones, 2 UJ-22 decoys, and 3 Liut-196 attack drones. The UJ-22s, unarmed and built to be seen, lead the charge. Flying at 1,000 feet with a cruise speed of 100 miles per hour. Their carbon fiber skins and oversized airframes are designed to light up enemy radar like Christmas trees. They jam the 2.4 GHz and 5.8 GHz bands, sowing chaos in the enemy's detection systems. Trailing 600 feet behind, the 3 Liut-196s are the real threat. These sleek, low-flying drones skim the ground at 500 feet. Their cruise speeds between 110 and 125 miles per hour. Each carries a 150-pound shaped charge warhead designed to punch through armor and ignite fuel. Their navigation is fully autonomous, relying on internal inertial systems to avoid GPS jamming. The formation flies in a tight arrow, silent on all frequencies, invisible to radar thanks to their composite airframes. The target? The airbase's core assets, the Mi-8s parked on the west ramp, the B-12S, staged for maritime patrols, the Nebo-U radar, the nerve center of the base's early warning system. The plan is meticulous, timed to the second. The UJ-22s will draw fire, forcing the enemy to commit their defenses. The Liut-196s will slip through the resulting gap, striking before the base can recover. At 3:25 a.m., the formation is 20 miles out. The UJ-22s climb slightly, broadcasting false signals to mimic a larger attack. At 3:27, they cross into the air defense recognition zone. A Podlet K-1 station, 10 miles from the airfield, picks up the anomalous contacts. Warning lights flash in the Russian control cabin. The Nebo-U radar snaps to active mode, its high-frequency beams sweeping the sky. The UJ-22s register as 2 fast-moving targets at 900 feet, closing on the base. The Russian commander orders an immediate response. Pantsir S-1 batteries roar to life, launching a salvo of 25mm rounds. The sky lights up as the UJ-22s are shredded, their wreckage crashing into the rocky ground just outside the airfield's perimeter. The Russian duty officer reports a clear victory, 2 threats neutralized. The Nebo-U throttles back, and the Podlet K-1 reverts to routine scans. The base exhales, believing the danger has passed, but the real attack is just beginning. At 3:30 a.m., the 3 Liut-196s, codenamed Viper 1, Viper 2, and Viper 3, exploit the chaos. Flying below 400 feet, they hug the terrain, slipping through a narrow gap in the radar's side lobes. The maneuver is a masterclass in evasion, calculated to thread the needle between the Nebo-U's sweeping arcs and the Pantsir's reaction lag. The drones are now less than 8 miles from the target, closing at 140 miles per hour. In the command center, Sophia's screen shows the infrared feed, the Mi-8s still glowing from their engines, the B-12s parked near a fuel truck, the Nebo-U's massive antenna rotating slowly. The range coordinator confirms. Vipers in the attack corridor. Lock confirmed. At 3:33 a.m., the drones enter their terminal phase. Viper 1 pulls up to 600 feet, targeting the Mi-8 cluster. Viper 2 banks left, locking onto the Nebo-U antenna. Viper 3 holds course for the B-12S. The Russian radar registers a faint blip at ultra-low altitude, but it's too late. The alert level spikes to 2, but the drones are already diving. At 3:35 a.m., the strikes hit. Viper 1 slams into the first Mi-8's engine bay, detonating in a blinding fireball. The 150-pound warhead triggers a secondary explosion, igniting fuel drums and shredding the second Mi-8 parked nearby. Rotor blades spin wildly, crashing into a hangar roof. The blast's overpressure, exceeding 45 pounds per square inch, hurls a refueling truck sideways, feeding the inferno. Milliseconds later, Viper 3 strikes the right-hand B-12. The airframe ruptures and debris punctures a nearby fuel bunker. The second B-12 ignites, flames leaping to the maintenance bay. At 3:35:02, Viper 2 hits the Nebo-U antenna with surgical precision. The 45-foot array collapses in a heap of twisted metal, its electronics fried. The concussion ripples across 10 miles, shattering windows in nearby warehouses. The airfield is a torch. Commercial satellites capture a thermal bloom over 1,000 feet wide. The Russian UHF net crackles with a final, desperate message. Base under attack. Radar destroyed. Aircraft lost. Then silence. By 3:40 a.m., the base is in ruins. Fires rage across the west ramp, fueled by 1 million pounds of aviation fuel. Secondary explosions ripple through ammunition caches, sending shockwaves that topple a backup command vehicle. Maxar imagery later reveals the carnage. 3 Mi-8s reduced to charred husks, 1 B-12 unrecognizable, the Nebo-U a smoldering wreck. The ramp is blackened across 800 feet with debris scattered like confetti. The strategic impact is immediate. The base, a linchpin for Russian operations in Crimea, is crippled. Helicopter lift capacity is zeroed. Maritime reconnaissance is grounded. Early warning radar is offline, creating a 100-kilometer blind spot. Supply lines to forward bases in Kherson and Jankoy are severed, forcing Moscow to reroute cargo flights through longer, riskier paths. In Zaporizhzhia, the Ghost team watches the satellite feed, silent but triumphant. Sophia removes her headset, her hands trembling. Colonel Mikola claps her shoulder. "We burned the nest," he says. By dawn, Telegram channels buzz with grainy videos from locals. Fires lighting the night, military police cordoning off the area, hot metal raining on rooftops. Russian state media claims a technical fire, but open-source analysts verify the truth with before and after imagery. The base's coordinates, once a closely guarded secret, are now exposed. The strike's cost to Russia exceeds $200 million, but the strategic loss is greater. Ukraine's UAVs, small and cheap, have turned an impregnable fortress into rubble. The message is clear. In modern warfare, precision and timing trump expensive hardware. As Russian defenses scramble to plug the gap, Ukraine's Ghost unit is already planning the next strike, exploiting the new vulnerabilities they've created. The screen fades to black, leaving the viewer with a final thought. In the shadows of war, a single drone can shift the tide.